Hi everyone. I hope you had the time to check how to access data on StatScan. Then hopefully you managed to see my answers to your previous homework, how to create some nice charts. So one of the questions here was construct the most appropriate type of graph to compare the two types of pet populations. You used pen and paper to create your charts, but for me it was easier to use some software to create a chart that's more accurate. You have to give a proper answer, read it, to justify the choice of your charts. Obviously, it's not fair to compare a handmade chart with a chart made by a computer. It's obvious that the one created by the computer is more accurate and fancier, I would say. So now let's see how to create them. I'll give you a short lesson on Excel. Your present homework asks you to use Fathom, which if you don't have a computer from school, probably you don't have that software. So we're gonna use Excel that comes with pretty much every new computer. Let's see what we can do with Excel. So one thing that you could do, you can insert numbers, you can insert letters in every cell. So each cell is located by coordinates like in chess. So D5, you can see that name here, D5, or this one is E8, and so on. You can insert a number, you can insert a word, and you can do 1 plus 5, but you won't see the result. Why not? Because each time when you want to introduce a formula or to compute something, you have to start with equal. So look at this 1 plus 5, that's in B3, and all I have to do is to start with an equal sign, and I'll see 6. Sometimes I don't know what that 6 represents, so I can do in the previous cell 1 plus 5 equals, and then the answer here. So I can say anything I want. So 2 times 9 equals, and here I have to start with the equal sign, 2 times 9, and I'll have that. A lot of functions, nice functions in Excel. For example, when I'm trying to make a draw to see who wins whatever, I input a function. So again, it starts with equals, random. It could be rand with 2 brackets representing a random number generated by the computer in between 0 and 1. Okay. Or you can have rand between, you can see that. And you can say between 1 and 9, I'm not sure, and you're gonna get a random number. Each time when you change something on the worksheet, that number is gonna change. That's the thing that's not very good about that. So sometimes if you have a formula and you want to keep your values, Control C, copy, and then you right click, you choose paste, and here you have some options. You can paste whatever you copied, the formula, or just the value, in my case is 8, or just the formula, or transpose different things here. So based on that, I'm going to use this a lot of times. So in this case, see, when I change something, this value here, because it's a formula, will always change. But this one, because it's the number, will stay the same. Well, now let's start our lesson. You have some data that you imported from StatScan, and I'm going to use that data eventually. I forgot to remind you that, or to tell you that here you have different sheets associated to the same book. So sheet 1, you can rename grade 7, for example, and I can add another one here, and I can rename it. Right click, rename, grade 8. So pay attention to what paper you're on. So now you have your data, be it from StatScan or from your textbook or from other place. You want to create a chart. You select all of the data and insert, go to charts. And I had in mind to do a bar chart. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to click here. You can choose any one of these or more, but I chose the first one. And in here, what I didn't like was the fact that I had a space in between the two bars. I could have left it, but I didn't like it. So I double click on one of the column, one of the bars, and it came here a format data series. I didn't want them to not overlap. I want that to be a 0, so to overlap, almost overlap. And here's, they don't have a space in between. So that's the chart. Obviously way faster and way easier than it was on the paper, but it takes some time to copy the data and to be accurate. Now I'm going to show you how to answer this question. Use Fathom or a spreadsheet program, in our case Excel, to make a bar graph that displays the number of hours of television viewing per week by age group in Canada using this chart. Okay. This chart, the data in this chart was taken from StatScan, so hopefully you practiced and you know how to get something similar. Yeah, it says here Statistics Canada. And again, we're gonna try to construct a bar graph using Excel. I have the data, I copied it, the same data as in that question. And just not to forget what the question asks us, here's the text. Now what do we do? Because we cannot see it. What we can do is to merge these cells. So eventually I'm going to merge these two groups of cells. So merge and center here. But I cannot see anything. So I'll right click on the cell, go to Format Cells, and here to Alignment, and not shrink to fit because it will make the letters really small. Let's see. But again, Format Cells, but wrap text, and that's when you're gonna see everything in that cell. Okay, and you can make it, if for some reason not all of the text can be seen, you can make the cell wider or not. So construct a bar graph that compares the number of hours of television, etc. How do we do that? We can select as previously the whole data. So click, select it, don't unclick, and drag until you selected everything. And then again, go to charts. Select any one of them. So let's say if I select this one, what happens? Oh my god, too many bars. I can barely compare them. Too many bars. I cannot see them. I would take 4 of them eventually, but I don't like 5. So let's see what other chart we have here. Insert this one. Much better without the space in between. You're gonna see that. I can have the other one as well, just for comparison. Oh, I cannot. Okay, so without the space in between, it's much better. Okay, but I don't like the fact that there's still 5. So what can we do? There are 5 because here we have male and female columns. I can have them in one column by, let's say the easiest one is to copy these. Control C. I'm going to show you something extra. It's not necessarily the nicest thing, but anyway. And here I can say, I'm going to try to have the sum of these. Oh, that's not correct. because it will look like everybody's that's 18 and over are watching 21 plus 25, 46 hours per week. That's a lot. So that's not the case. Maybe an average would be better. But anyway, let's see every single case. So assuming I want to have the sum of these two equals, because it's a formula, click on that. Look at, it's the same level, Canada, plus this one. I don't have to worry. And it's 46.8. Now, you don't have to do the same thing. You could, but you don't have to do the same thing for all of them. You can just click on this. See this little green square in my case? You move the mouse until the cursor becomes a black arrow, cross, and you drag it. And it will know the formula. So it will create, see, 22.1 plus 26 is 48.7, the same way. But no one is watching that many hours, right? So using the sum is not accurate. Maybe an average would be better. So equals, and then I have the function average, and then you select this, comma, this, and that's it. And that's the average, and it's much better. So over 18, that's how much time they spend in front of the TV. Now let's have the chart. Let's represent this. Insert chart. Here, the same. They come with the spaces in between. It looks so busy. So double click on one of them. Oh, here. Overlap. So 0%. And it will be just as nice. Much better. Okay, so who here watches the most? In Quebec, over 18, people in over 18 watch the most. Spend a lot of time in front of the TV. Who's next? These people here in Nova Scotia. Okay, so obviously children spend less time. Now please do practice on the other homework questions that you have. Use Excel as well, okay? See you next time.